Hi, I'm Kubeir. Today we are going to talk about self-employed work experience. Stay tuned for this. Well, today we're going to speak about self-employed experience, self-employed work experience, and how that fits into Federal Skilled Worker Program. On the subject of self-employed work experience, what does it mean? How do you express it? How do you show it? How do you prove it? And what in its entirety does CIC wants to see from this? So this is applicable to people who are managing or running their own businesses. This is for people who hold some sort of share in a company as a director, as a partner, as an owner. This is for people who are running their own setup. This is for people who freelance or running their own kind of operations. All these people who are not employed by any specific employer but still run a legitimate operations, still run a legitimate business, and would like to apply for Canadian Express Entry for Canadian immigration under Express Entry. This is for you guys. So contrary to popular belief, a self-employed work experience is perfectly valid and acceptable under Express Entry, but this experience must be outside Canada. So if you are self-employed in Canada, unfortunately your work experience as a self-employed individual, self-employed professional is not acceptable for Federal Skilled Worker Program or Canadian Experience Class Program. Outside Canada, this work experience is absolutely fine and acceptable. So what do you need to do in order for you to prove your work experience to CIC? To start with, they're looking for a few things, and this is what you need to prove. You need to prove ownership. You need to prove that you actually are the owner of your company. You are the partner in your company. It is you who manages, runs this whole operation that you have. This is your first priority that you need to prove. Second thing you need to identify and prove is your NOC code. Yes, because this is a Federal Skilled Worker Program, NOC code is again extremely important. NOC code is very important. So first you need to identify the NOC code which is relevant to your work experience. Say for example, you are running an advertising firm, or you're running you're freelancing graphic designer, or you run a employment recruitment agency. All of you can apply under Federal Skilled Worker, but you need to identify your respective NOC codes for advertising manager, for graphic designer, or any such activities as a self-employed professional. When you identify your NOC code, everything else applies just like a work experience, just like an employed personnel. So you need to prove your NOC code by reference letters. On the reference letters, the duties and responsibilities must match with your NOC code. The activities in the lead statement must be included in your reference letter. But since you are the owner of your company, where are you going to get the reference letters from? In this case, the reference letter comes from your clients, your vendors, people who you do business with, people who you provide services to. These are the people who will now need to give you a reference letter. So for example, let's just take a hypothetical example. Let's say I own a recruitment agency, and now I need to provide a reference letter. So I will approach a client who I have been providing my services to, or who is who's been using our services, and that client will write out this letter for us, preferably on their letterhead. And the client will basically mention that I have been working with Kubeir Kamal in the capacity, him being the owner of the company Mark Pro Talent Associates, and during the tenure which started from 1st January 2015, I have seen him, or I have witnessed him performing following job roles and responsibilities. and A and B and C and D and E and F and so on and so forth. These will be the job roles and responsibilities that will match with the knock code that you've selected. This will also contain the lead statement or the activities in the lead statement, and collectively this will become your reference letter. However, you need to provide more than one. So there is no number, there is no specified number, but I would suggest, say, 3 to 5 is pretty good, or rather ideal. Keeping 4 to 5 as a minimum number, that would be the number of clients you would approach to get this reference letters from. In addition to that, your work experience must prove that this was a paid period of work experience. Obviously you cannot do charitable work, honorary work, because you won't get any experience points for that. So now you need to prove that during this period of time you were also getting an income. So you will show invoices. Let's say you're claiming work experience over 3 years, so show invoices for each year. Let's say 3 to 4 invoices or 2 to 4 invoices for each year. So for 3 years you're looking at roughly 8 to 12 invoices that you must show. You will show your bank statements or any other method through which you have received payments. Cash is not going to work in this case, because it needs to be a bit more credible source of information which can prove that you were getting paid during this period of time. So bank accounts, your company bank accounts, your bank statements, which show an input of income which is coming from your clients. So whether it was incoming wire transfers, payment through checks, or bank transfers, then all that will help. This basically is now proving that your NOC code is there. It's proving your work experience period, because all the reference letters will mention from which period to what time you have been providing these services, and your bank statements, your invoices, your payment vouchers, all this will prove that you are paid. Additionally, what is also suggested is that you provide ownership documents. So basically, partnership deed, company registration, company taxation details. If you are renting a property, renting an office, then the tenancy agreements. If you own the property, then obviously the ownership deed or ownership details of that property, where you have your office or business. In addition to that, if there is any sort of agreement that you have which proves that you are an owner, that works. In addition to that, any insurance that you have against your business, for example, you're running a retail outlet, a retail store or a restaurant, then if you have any insurance policies that you have taken out against your business, those will also be an added proof of ownership. You may or may not have employees. If you have employees, then the salaries that you are paying your employees, that document to prove that the salaries are being paid, that again is going to help. And most definitely your tax returns, the income tax that you're paying on your business, on your account, on your by yourself, that also needs to be included. So collectively, what you're trying to prove to CIC is that you own the business, your NOC code is valid, and you can validate it by way of showing your reference letters from your client, that you were getting paid or you were making an income. This was a revenue generating business. The amount of money is not really relevant here, but the fact that it was churning income is what is important. And this collectively will make your work experience documents package. Sometimes it can get a bit difficult to obtain certain letters, but this is how it is. I mean, you cannot self-notarize a document to yourself. You cannot claim, being a business owner, you cannot just claim that me, Kubeir Kamal, was working as the owner of an employment agency and I did XYZ as my duties and responsibilities. That is not going to be accepted, because it very clearly states on the CIC website that self-attested duties and responsibilities is not going to work. So apart from that, if you can think of anything else in terms of your employees writing you a letter stating that the working hours of your company were from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and they witnessed you coming to office every day, 5 days a week, then that also adds to your work experience period. And any kind of achievements or awards that you must have received. Let's say you won a retail award or retail organization award. Let's say you won I don't know, best software design company award, or you have some sort of an achievement record, or you are registered with certain regulatory authorities or regulatory bodies which prove or which has awarded you a certification for doing a business. All that will add credibility to your application and to your claim of you being a business owner, of you being self-employed. This is it basically. So if you collectively have all these documents, you can very well claim work experience. So this is for people who have established businesses. Now let's come to the workers or people who are freelancing. Now when you're freelancing, you are actually in a bit more of a difficult position, because now there is no business ownership to prove. You may or may not have a premises from where you're working. You may actually be working out of home. You could be having a home office. You could be working remotely. You could be on a contract job which basically is not allowing you to show some physical business address. In such cases, again, the most important document is going to be reference letters. Reference letters that will come from your client, and this is single most important document. Again, you need to prove your NOC code. You need to prove the work period. You need to prove that you actually were working. Even if you were freelancing, if all the documents that you provide could show that you were freelancing, well, that so be it. When you're freelancing, it's more in the gray area as such, because now it's discretionary for visa officer to believe whether you really were working or not. So more documentation that you provide in relation to your freelancing experience, the better it is. And most importantly in this whole process is going to be your proof of income. Even as a freelancer, if you're getting paid in cash, this makes it a very, very difficult proposition. But if you are getting paid through, for example, PayPal, if you are getting paid through bank transfers, if you are getting paid through checks, all that will really, really help. If you are working as a contract worker, again, because it's a contract job, you can still get a letter from your employer, and though it will be a contract job, you can still claim work experience through that letter. That's just about it. Income tax returns, invoices, payment vouchers, bank statements, income statements, lease agreements. What else can I think of? Insurance, salary vouchers to your staff, ownership documents, lease agreement, company registrations. If you have some sort of a tax number registered, for example, HST number, for example, GST registration, for example, shops and establishment registrations. All these documents that prove that you actually are the business owner, that you were contracted, that you are a freelancer, and that you individually managed, operated a business, and made an income out of it, that will prove your work experience. That's all I can think of on this particular subject, and I appreciate all the support that you've shown me. Thank you so much, and if there's anything else that we can do for you, give us a shout.